we take the next step of the path. Instead of visiting the temple in the subtle world, or in the heart, in the morning, at noon, and in the evening, and in the meantime descending to the material level, we now say, live in both worlds simultaneously, in heaven and on earth. Your being consists of two aspects: your eternal individuality and your transitory personality. Both live in different spheres, one on earth and the other in the subtle world, and this actually at the same time. Now you have to learn to consciously lead this double life. Man is a giant whose head soars up to heaven, while at the same time he is standing with his feet on earth. Our task is to remind man that as the highest expression of the manifested world, they can be centers for uniting the worlds. In scientific language, we may say, the human pyramid is a unitary object consisting of physical, subtle and fiery body. The pyramid of the worlds is a unit of physical, subtle and fiery world. You must not separate the worlds. You have to form and to maintain one unitary being on all three levels. Basically, we would split up this unity when we imagine that we are dwelling on earth in 1 hour and in heaven in another. We cannot live sometimes the physical and sometimes the spiritual aspect of our being. We have to express both at the same time. Living in 3 worlds at the same time, that again is too high for me. In fact, this is not as high-flying as it might seem at first glance. A simple example. While the eye is watching the material world, at the same time the heart feels what is going on the subtle level. This is not that special, and not that difficult either. We call people to be able to observe the features of human nature even during work. One should maintain a natural work and at the same time watch one's subtle sensations. Through such a combination will people draw nearer to a transfiguration of life. What does that mean specifically for the path of the interior temple? You broaden what you have practiced so far. Your eternal individuality lives in a higher world of peace and quietness. From up there, it controls the words and deeds of the body, which at the same time acts down below on earth, in the midst of the worldly hurly-burly. Nothing that happens down there can drag the soul out of its restfulness, of its heaven. We see again the interior temple is a mental attitude. A beautiful symbol for this state of the consciousness is this painting, which shows the soul in its own world, at its unassailable height. As presented here, you should regard yourself and face your fellow human beings. Agni Yoga is a synthesis of science and religion. For a better understanding, we also want to express in scientific language what it means to live in two worlds simultaneously. You should not imagine your paradise somewhere in the Himalayas. We repeat, heaven, the fiery world, is very close, around you. That means the interior temple surrounds you like a spiritual room, like an aura, wherever you are on earth. Or, let us put it this way. The subtle world that you are building around you is the spiritual framework within which your material life takes place. You can imagine this as in a theater. You are standing in the foreground and acting on the stage of earthly life. The scenery behind you, against which your material existence takes place, is the temple in the subtle world. You remember, there is a spiritual superstructure above every place on earth. For example, above the plot of surface of the earth called Germany, there is a state named Federal Republic. It consists of the ideals and worldviews, Marxism, capitalism, or Darwinism, the religions, laws, customs, and traditions that are in force there. Similar spiritual superstructures are forming above your physical life by reason of your belonging to a family, a people, a football or traditional club, a political party or movement, the army or police, or to a philosophy such as Platonism, Stoa, or Enlightenment. This is the spiritual world in which you are living. It arches like an invisible bell over the material place where you are located. Heaven on earth is realized when over the place where you are living and working there hovers a sanctuary, a superstructure on the subtle level. Instead of frame, scenery, or superstructure, we might also say spiritual order. It is important that you realize dwelling in heaven means living in the spiritual order of a heaven, according to the laws, customs, and traditions which apply there. So what do you want me to do? You are the monk of an inner monastery when you live by the customs and practices that apply in a temple, wherever you are and whatever you are doing. Your whole life takes place in this spiritual order. The result of this exercise is You are living and working in a sacred place. To put it as concretely as possible, you are working in a factory on the assembly line, and at the same time you are living in your sanctuary. Impossible, or at least quite soaring. Well, it again depends on your inner attitude. We shall discuss in more detail in the broadcastings on the establishment of the new world. There are also workshops in the temples of the future. Here, everything that people need physically and spiritually for their daily survival is being manufactured and offered in accordance with ethical principles. In the same way, you may transfigure your daily professional work by regarding yourself as a temple servant who is toiling in the name and on behalf of the highest and serving the common good. A beautiful symbol of this attitude is this painting showing Saint Jerome at work in his study, which is at the same time a church.